It's the big one. Manchester City host Arsenal at the Etihad this Easter weekend. And after a 2-week international break, I think everybody is just clucking. There's almost a desperation in the air surrounding football fans around the world, not just for football to return, but for this game. The title race is so different this year. 3 teams going head to head, fighting it out, slugging it out to try and become the most dominant force in England this campaign. And unlike recent years, where we have seen this in brilliant Liverpool teams and brilliant Man City teams go head to head, fight it out, this is a new dynamic for both those sides, with it being a 3-horse race. For a lot of young football fans who don't remember the 90s, don't remember the 80s, don't even remember the late noughties, where you quite often had United, Chelsea, Arsenal, United, Liverpool, Chelsea. You go back into the 90s and you throw Blackburns and Newcastles, Liverpools, Villas, Leeds Uniteds all into this mix. There was very regularly 3-horse, sometimes 4-horse races with teams that could genuinely win the Premier League. And if you remove your bias, if you remove your rivalry, we're blessed. We're blessed to have this. It's going to be a fun and amazing next 7 to 8 weeks as the Premier League concludes. The FA Cup finalizes. The champions of Europe will be crowned. And with Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester City involved in so much of that, there's going to be many trials, many tribulations, some peaks, some troughs, some ecstasy. There is going to be some downright horrible moments. For all 3 of those teams, rivals are going to be in bits because we all want a particular outcome, but for different reasons. Everybody knows my agenda. It has nothing to do with a deep-lying hatred of any club. It's all to do with the preservation of the history of Manchester United. And we have very little control in any of this. We could win the FA Cup, which would stop a famous back-to-back treble by Man City. We can beat Liverpool at home in a couple of weeks and hopefully help stop them winning their 20th Premier League title, equaling our record. There's very little we can do now as Man United fans to stop Manchester City from completing a 4-peat, which would be a record, in my humble opinion, it will not be matched. The only team that can better it would be City going for a 5-peat next year. But to do a 4-peat of Premier League titles, it may never be done again in my lifetime, your lifetime, or anybody that sees this video. And the biggest thing for me is clubs achieving records, back-to-back trebles, 4-peats, equaling or surpassing a trophy total that Manchester United have. I don't want to see it because my overarching aim for my club is to be the most successful team in England in every single category of trophies: European, Premier League, domestic trophies. You want to have the most of all of them, the most FA Cups, League Cups, Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues. Who doesn't want that? So, of course, I'm praying and hoping for records to not be achieved that hurt my club, which is why everybody knows out of the 3 teams in the race, Arsenal would be my preferred choice. They are the best of a bad bunch for me. And I am excited about this race. And this game, Sunday, it's going to be epic. Because this has been a very poor hunting ground for Arsenal in years gone by. They have been beaten, ripped apart, destroyed, humbled, and embarrassed against Manchester City with such regularity in recent years gone by that it's a game that I think Arsenal fans be one of the first fixtures they look for from a position of almost dread. And they got a win the other day. They got a win earlier on this season, Arsenal, against Manchester City. But just looking at this record here, this is what's crazy. Since 2017 season until now, Arsenal have just 2 wins over sorry, 3 wins over Man City. One of them was in the Community Shield this year on penalty shootouts. They beat them 2-0 in the FA Cup in 2020 and that 1-0 victory at the Emirates earlier on this season. Every other game has been a win for Manchester City. The dominance, the history that sides with City on such a big scale here, huge scale here. But this Man City team has its problems, its flaws. And I'm not talking about the kind of problems that Newcastle has or a Man United or a Chelsea. Let us not take this out of context. I'm talking about minuscule problems comparatively, but within the spectrum of a title race, they can be huge. They do concede a lot of chances on the counter-attack. They are more susceptible to conceding goals now than I've probably seen them in the last 3 to 4 seasons. Arsenal defensively have been so strong throughout the course of this campaign, not just the least amount of goals conceded, but the volume of chances they don't concede. The lack of progression against them from their opponents has been a little bit unbelievable. I don't think people saw this Mikel Arteta team being capable of doing that. And in the last 3 months, what has also come alive in this Arsenal team has been the more free-flowing, flamboyant, attacking football, and the two styles have married together impeccably well. And Arsenal right now on form are the best team in the Premier League. I don't think anybody would deny that. History is on City's side. Current form, current quality sits with Arsenal. And probably for the first time in 5, 6, 7 years. I'm just actually looking here for the last time Arsenal won at the Etihad. It was 2015. 9 years. This is the better part of a decade. There has never been a better time for Arsenal to go and get a positive result. And the big question that's been surrounding this tie, if Arsenal lose it, if City lose, does it end their Premier League title hopes? And if City lose, it becomes very precarious because, of course, 2 teams theoretically could have a 4-point gap over them. That means they have to better 2 teams by 5 points with 9 games to go. The probability of that shrinks massively. It isn't as bad for Arsenal because City would only go 2 points ahead of them. They may be 4 points behind Liverpool, but it's only one team they need that 5-point swing with. However, a defeat for either team is going to have a huge effect upon their ability to win the title. I've changed my mind this week listening to so many people on shows through three straight facts. We've done 2 top 6 shows, and this has come up on many times. I've changed my mind that either team will be out of the title race and not able to win it. Mathematically, they've always been able to, but I thought psychologically they could be damaged. I've changed my mind on that. I don't think it's a write-off if either team loses, but it is certainly a big uphill struggle, a tiresome, grueling, and some will say near impossible task of winning should they lose. So the backdrop of this game is amazing. We know about the brilliance at City. Haaland's goal scoring, KDB's creativity, Rodri's ridiculous unbeaten record in this side, Phil Foden's brilliance all season. There are some injury concerns or confirmed players out with John Stones and Kyle Walker, which I think is another leveler that gives Arsenal another opportunity. And Man City with the bookmakers still, though, are the favourites. They are odds on to win, where Arsenal fluctuate between 2-1 and 3-1. But it's the closest gap I think we've seen in the best part of a decade when these 2 teams have played themselves. How do Arsenal win? How do Arsenal stop them? They have to ensure that there is a strong defensively on Sunday as they have been all season, and they limit the chances and they limit how often City pass through them and hurt them. At the same time, when they get their chances, and there will be chances, they've got to be clinical. Everybody in there, and everybody that's played City in the last 2 or 3 months has had chances on the counter and has had chances in open play. Man United got beat 3-1 We were 1-0 up and Rashford was through on goal, bad touch. Rashford had a clear shot on goal from 6 yards out, missed the ball. There was 2 or 3 times where a decent squared ball from Garnacho puts us into a position for a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. The ball never made it. If and when Arsenal get these opportunities, they must be clinical. Will they get these opportunities? I don't see why we're not saying yes. The biggest test here is going to be Arsenal's mental fortitude, the still. What's going on between their ears is every bit as important. Can they block out recent history? Can they block out the last decade of heartache, pain, and problems that the Etihad and Manchester City have delivered? Can they capitalize on the very small but weak areas currently within this Manchester City team? The injuries that they've now sustained at the back. Can Arsenal capitalize? I want to get your views and opinions on that. But when it comes to this weekend, 2-1. I think Arsenal are going to win 2-1. I think they are going to get over the line this weekend. I think with current form, going head-to-head at this point, Arsenal are just clear. And if they do, many will say they become title favourites. And then we will see how Arsenal handle that pressure from that point moving forward. Their following game is at home to Luton. 3 points, almost 100% guaranteed. They could maintain a 4-point gap at the top if they win this game with 8 games to go. With a stronger squad, a better team, a more mature team from last year. But can they handle being the front runners as opposed to sitting on the shoulder of the leaders? That is for you to tell me in the comment section below. I'm not disrespecting Man City. Everybody knows I think they're the best team in the world. But this game is being played now. And on current form, injuries to Man City, I think Arsenal are just going to take it. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Peace.